All right, welcome back. Something that's not very talked about, especially in this part of the world, is mental health. And I think it's very important in these times. A lot of us have been either in lockdown or in isolation or just cut away from people we love for over a year now. And I have here with me Amanda Ihema, who's a psychotherapist. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
And I think I want to start on that now because 2020, 2021 has been quite the year for a lot of people. I know people who have talked about going through so much. People who tend to lean on others, when they need just to offload on things. How should people cope in a time like this? Now, I know, therapy is always great, but not everybody can have access to a therapist in a time like this. Either you're sick or you're just trying to avoid people. What sorts of things should people be thinking about, in a time like this?
I think that one thing that we as Nigerians specifically need to do during this time is a lot of introspection. When I was watching the previous interview before this, he mentioned something about how during the lockdown he had the time to sit back and reflect on some of the decisions he was about to make, about the jobs he was taking in, the actor who was on before me. And that's something that was necessary for us to do during the pandemic. And it's still necessary now to sit back, take a break, take a breather, and assess the different parts of our lives, our family relationships, our friendships, our career choices, our educational path. Some of the things and expectations that we had of ourselves 2019 and even 2020 have changed because the path we're walking on is very different now because of the way the world is. So it's necessary. The first thing to do is to sit and introspect, which is usually the hardest thing to do, but the most important. So apart from introspection, it's also picking up very healthy habits. The first thing to do is to make sure your physical health is good. Are you exercising regularly? Are you eating healthy, nutritious meals? Are you going for your regular checkups? And are you drinking enough water and getting enough sleep? Because these things on their own, when you're deficient, can affect your mental health as well. So when you take care of your physical health, you're doing your introspection, it's now for you to now inculcate some other healthier habits that are good for your mental health, like journaling, like comforting people and having difficult conversations that you would much rather, push to the side. Talk to them about the things that you're going through. Try to fix your relationships. Figure out what kinds of people you want to have in your life. Define your own personal value system that you want to use to guide you through your own world. Take on habits like meditation, doing yoga, breathing exercises, and also like writing as well, like I said, journaling before.
So we live in a country where people still don't take mental health very seriously. I mean, even for a young demographic, because I see things on Twitter sometimes from people who you would think, are in an age where they should be more aware. Someone talks about depression, and people are saying, I better go and hang out with people or something. Or, someone has a conversation about suicide, and they're laughed at, are you that's, tired of life, What can we do to elevate the conversation here? And I'm talking for a lot of just the average Nigerian to understand the importance of mental health.
Education. People who say things like that, like when you're depressed, or just, go and sleep, eat food, it's ignorance, really. They don't know. They liken mental illnesses like depression or anxiety to just everyday emotions. Because when you think about it, depression, the major symptom is sadness, persistent sadness. And sadness is a normal human experience. So when a person tells you that they're sad, you just think like it's just a normal sadness that you have or proper melancholy. But it's not. It's deeper than that. And sometimes these mental illnesses, especially like depression, you wouldn't understand the depth of it until you actually experience it for yourself. That's when you realize that it's not one of those kinds of sadness that you can easily wake out of or just, drink water and feel better or hang out with your friends and forget about it. It's persistent and affects your ability to function well in different parts of your life. So it's ignorance that causes people to say some of the things that they say. And if we want people to understand, there needs to be more conversation, more information out there. The same way we'll tell people about COVID-19, how to take care of yourself, wear masks, sanitize your hands. It's the same way we need to talk about mental health and mental illnesses to let people know. If they know the number of people who say these ignorant things, it would reduce because now they know better and they know even how to respond when a person tells them that I'm feeling suicidal, there's no meaning or purpose in life for me to live any longer, I want to take my life. They know what to say and what not to say. So it's just mental awareness and education of the people.
Does where you live, can it affect your mental health? There are people who say, in the rural areas, you're not with a lot of people, so maybe there's not even enough people to lean on. But there are people who say places like Lagos, even just the rush of Lagos is a lot.
Yes, it is.
So a place like Lagos could affect your mental health. And how do you sort of thrive in a place like that? Living in a city like this where you have to work, and not, being mentally healthy?
Someone asked me a quick question like this as well in relation to my job, like how do you stay sane in a place that's insane, especially as a therapist? And what I told them was that I try as much as possible to make my own space a place of peace. So when you have to go out and deal with the things out of your control, work, traffic, crazy driver on the road, someone yelling at you, your boss, your colleagues, school work, when you have to deal with all these external factors, when you come back home, do you come back home to peace? Do you come back home to a place where you can offload, and ground yourself, where you can take strolls and feel safe and talk to your family members and your friends about these are the things I'm going through, how my day was? Do you have that? So if you want to stay sane in an insane place, it's to look at the place that is within your control, your own immediate environment. It's not so much about, I need to change Lagos. It's, I need to change the space around me to make it healthier and safer for me to existing, so that when I'm done dealing with all the craziness outside and I come home, I know how to rejuvenate myself. And also have your own healthy lifestyle routine. You're taking care of yourself and you're being conscious and disciplined with it. Yeah. If you do that, if you do what you are responsible for, you would be able to cope. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to be 100%, your life is going to be phenomenally great, because you still have to go out and these things will definitely affect you.
But there has to be a balance.
Yes, there has to be a balance. So when you deal with the craziness, have a place to go home to that's safe and peaceful.
I know you're a big advocate of therapy.
Very big.
But a lot of Nigerians are not. Most people don't even think they need therapy. Some people think therapy is a sign of weakness. How can someone be solving my problems? Why do I need a therapist?
Yeah.
Some people are scared of therapy because they don't want to find out or confront whatever it is. How do we cross that, as people to say, okay, this is actually okay? It's like going to see a doctor.
Yeah, it's down to the same thing, education. If you don't know, you would not be able to do anything. If you continue to live in that same state of ignorance. So if we talk more, like here, I'm on channels now, I'm talking, right? People are watching me and now knowing that therapy is safe.
Does everybody need therapy?
Everyone. I have a therapist.
But you're a therapist.
Yeah, I have a therapist and I go to therapy. In the Catholic Church, priests go for confession to other priests as well. So I'm not a superhero. And that's another misconception that people have about therapy, is that you're coming in for me to save you. I'm not your hero. I'm not saving you. I'm guiding you.
So you're saying if I feel mentally healthy, I still need therapy?
You can come to therapy. It's the same way with your physical health. You may be physically healthy, but you still go for general checkups because, there are some things that you don't know may be happening in your body that is happening. Maybe your cholesterol is going up, high blood pressure or low blood pressure. There are some things that you need to check to just be sure that, okay, everything is fine. So I do have clients who, after they come in first with the major disorder, after treatment, their therapy sessions become once a month. They just want to check in, like, oh, am I okay? And what we do for that hour is let's talk about family. How is that going? Let's talk about friendships. How's that going? There are some things that happen in your life, very little things that you just think, oh, let me just leave that one on the side. You wouldn't want to talk about it. Yeah, it's there. You can't confront it. But when you come to therapy, you will confront it, because I will help you, guide you to that path of, this is a problem that you need to address, and let's think about the ways we can address the issue. So everyone needs to come for therapy. Once in a while, just come and get a check-in to be sure that you're okay.
We have to continue this conversation because I'm actually very fascinated and I have so many questions, but unfortunately we're out of time. Thank you very much, Amanda, for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
And continue doing the great work you do, because a lot of people need you.
I will. Thank you very much.
But like I always say, you can follow the conversation on Twitter at Rubbing Minds Now is the handle. Please use the hashtag Rubbing Minds when you tweet at us. Don't forget, socially distance, wear a mask, and please sit at home if you don't have anywhere to be. I'll see you next Sunday.